aim of establishing with the aim of establishing eternal religious principle for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narom Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tojayam Udirayat Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Jai Shri Prabhupada Jai Shri Prabhupada Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my obeisances. All Krishna Prabhupada. Welcome back. So we will be doing chapter 41, 42, 43 this weekend. So today we will do 41 and lesson 40 and 41 both are coming from chapter 33. So first half of chapter 33 that we already did in lesson 40 that we are going to hear recap in a moment. So today we will be doing later half of chapter 33 in lesson 41. Tomorrow we'll do 42 and the day after we'll do 43. So let's hear the recap of lesson 40. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Prabhuji. Very good. Yes, His Grace Charichandra Prabhuji last week closed our weekend sessions with Sri Jaiva Dharma with chapter 33 about lesson 40 especially. As we know, we are going through Sri Madhuri Ras, the part 3 last week, which includes lesson 40. So chapter 33, which included lesson 40 and 41, which includes Sri Radha Swarupa, 360 different kinds of heroines, 3 kinds of group leaders and their subgroups and messengers. So lesson 40 talked about the qualities of Srimati Radharani, her Sushtu Kanta Swarupa, then her 5 types of Sakhis. Today, His Grace Charichandra Prabhuji will be leading towards lesson 41 and he'll be explaining about 360 different qualities, different kinds of heroines and 3 different kinds of group leaders, their subgroups and messengers. So Prabhuji explained that this explanation, it has been so rejoicing and it has been so refreshing for him that whatever he has gone through the Shastras and the books he has read, he himself and Sharad Prabhuji. So 10% it has been also being it has been coming out. So it has been so difficult to understand Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna's pastimes. But here Prabhuji tried to explain in such a better way that most of the things in question answer session also they are becoming clear. So with this, the 2 themes lesson 40 included that the highlights of Srimati Radharani's unlimited glories. So here we can see that gopis are very dear to Lord Krishna. And we do see that Srimati Radharani and Chandravali, they are most dear to him. But among these 2, we do see that Srimati Radharani is most dear to Lord Krishna because she is Ladini Shakti and she is Mahabhava Swarupa. So we have seen again in Gopal Tapni Upanishad that Lord Krishna finds himself so much glorious that Srimati Radharani stands besides him. So that's why she's being called as Gandharvika. Madhava is glorious because Srimati Radharani stands side by side too. So Narad Muni declares that of all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is dear to Lord Krishna and her pawn Radha Kund also. Srimati Radharani is the essence of Ladini Shakti and is the best of Krishna's pleasure potency. And she is the most beautiful, and even her garments, as well as ornaments, they are insignificant in front of her. And so it has been called as Sushtu Kanta Swarupa. And so the meaning is that Prabhuji explained, even the garments and ornaments, they are insignificant before her. Then how she is Sushtu Kanta Swarupa, it is been explained that she is so beautiful. Her hairs, they are so gracefully curly. Her large eyes, they are so beautiful. Her waist is slender. And in the three worlds, there's no festival of beauty that compares with her. And that's why um, Lord Krishna and Radharani's pastimes, they are so glorious for the devotees. And also in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, also we do find and we do relish of these pastimes. Then, how Srimati Radharani used to follow Shringara, that is the 16 Shringaras, we do call it as Sola Shringar. So, how she used to follow that bathing, the jewels decorated on her nose, the blue garments, as the blue color is most dear to Lord Krishna. Her belt, her braids, her earrings, the sandal paste, anointed her limbs, the flowers placed in her hair, her necklaces, the lotus flower in her hand, the betel nuts in the mouth, the musk dot on her chin, the mascara around eyes, the colorful designs and pictures drawn on her cheeks, the red lac on her feet, and the most important is the marking of tilak. So it was a 16th Shringara, uh, without which her Shringara it was not complete. Srimati Radharani's 12 ornaments. So the exceptionally brilliant jewel Tyra, which has been upon her head, her golden earrings, the golden belt upon her ears, her pearl necklace, the golden necklace, the valli, the bracelets, uh, on her neck, the ornaments, the ring in her fingers, her ankle belts, armlets, and the rings on her toes. So, post break session, Prabhuji explained about the 25 most prominent transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. She's so sweet and youthful. So, her sidelong glances and restless eyes, so they were very dear to Lord Krishna. She is radiant, gentle, and having the sweet smile. She has beautiful lines indicating all auspiciousness, which has been explained in next slide. So she maddens Krishna with her natural fragrance of her bodily limbs. She's expert in musical arts. Prabhuji explained that how Lalita Priya Mataji, she also plays so nice sitar. uh, she speaks so sweetly. She makes the joke. She's very polite. She's merciful. She's expert in all her duties. She's very shy and she is steadfast with respect to the righteous conduct. She's patient. She's very grave with respect to her mind. She's fond of enjoying pastimes with Lord Krishna. And she do manifest Mahabhav, which is very important. So when the resident of Gokula see her, their hearts immediately overflow with premaras. Her fame pervades the entire universe. And she's object of affection for her superiors, Gurujan. She's controlled by the intense love of her Sakis. She's prominent amongst all Krishna Sakis, and Kesha always remains submissive to her orders. Then Prabhuji explained that how on the right hand, left hand, as well as on the left foot and right foot, there are the auspicious lines and markings which indicate her immense good fortune, like chakra, the flag, then the chariot, we do see the arrow, then the garland, and etc. So these are the several markings, almost 17 markings on the right hand, left hand, on the left hand. So there are 18 marks. auspicious marks. On the left foot, 7 marks, and on the right foot, there are 8 marks, which are the auspicious marks on her bodily limbs. Srimati Radharani's 5 dear Sakhis. Prabhuji explained that Sakhis, the friends, then the eternal friends are Nitya Sakhis, then are the Prana Sakhis, then the most dear, the Priya Sakhis, and the most dear, they are the Parama Preshta Sakhis. So these are most dear friends in pastimes of Srimati Radharani and Krishna, who are called as Ashtasakis, Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champaklata, Tunga Vidya, Induleka, Rangadevi, and Sudevi. And we do see that in all these leelas, which are eternal leelas, and these Ashtasakis, they do play an important role. And now Prabhuji will be continue for lesson 41, which is also rejoicing. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So beautifully and expertly done. I still remember when we did Ujjwal Nilamani, all the description about different kinds of heroines. Mataji, Nitisaki Mataji is the one who actually did recapping. So hopefully this time also she might do it next week also, hopefully. So I'm going to share my screen. So I hope everybody can see the screen. I will.
Yes,
Everybody can see. Yeah. So this is the a slide in which I'm showing you the themes. Lesson 40, we already saw that, mainly about the glorification of Srimati Radharani and our 5 Sakhis that Nitya Sakhi Mataji just so nicely recapped. So this is now lesson 41 that we'll be focusing today. And there are questions 218 to 257. The number will almost approach 400 by the time we complete. So there are 3 kinds of heroines that we will hear. And the group leaders, Yutheshwari. Yutha means group in Sanskrit. And Yutheshwari, Yutha Ishvara. Ishvara means one who controls. So Yutha who controls her group, that is Yutheshwari. So we will see the different kinds of Yutheshwaris, and there are different degrees or the depth of their love for Shri Krishna. And then we will see how the gopis, they function as different kinds of messengers, dutis. Duta means the male messenger. Duti is the female messenger. The messenger's role is to really transmit the hero's message to heroine and heroine's message to hero. Hero is, of course, only one. That is Lord Shri Krishna. And heroines are so many. Okay, but primarily it is Srimati Radharani. So that's what we'll be hearing this morning's talk. So first we'll talk about the 3 main kinds of heroines: Swakiya, Parakiya, and Samanya. Samanya means ordinary. Focus is Swakiya and Parakiya, and that Gopal Guru Goswami, the Shiksha Guru of both these disciples, Vrajinath and Vijay Kumar. Actually, we have been hearing Vijay Kumar lately because we have been talking about the rasas, the transcendental rasas of bhavas. That is primarily Vijay Kumar is the one who is in that kind of rasa. So Swaki and Parakya, we already heard so much about it. Swakiya means those are the ones Krishna married them duly in front of the witnesses and so on like that. Those are the queens of Dwarka. Okay, and it's the Parakya rasa that is really the focus of this conjugal rasa or the paramour love. Parakya are the gopis who are supposedly married to other gopas, but they were not really married. The gopas married their shadow forms, and we discussed at great length. But nonetheless, Yogamaya put in their consciousness so firmly that they thought they were indeed married to other gopas. So that's why when they surreptitiously meet Krishna, they are always constantly in fear. And Krishna enjoys that parakya rasa. For that, Krishna's Ichha Shakti, Yogamaya, is the one who arranges this parakya interrelationship between Krishna and the gopis. So at this point, not much is going to be talked about Swakya Parakya, except few things that we'll talk. But here in this particular slide, the focus is on Kubja. Now, Kubja, the great Panditas and the learneds, they interpret Kubja's role as really basically as a prostitute. Prostitutes never love their customers, as you all know. They are after money only, so their focus is only as an ordinary, But here, some important element that we are learning as being taught by Gopal Guru Goswami, the Siksha Guru. What he does, and that's what I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? I want you to know, I want to really understand how much you simply read it, but do you really try to understand it? Critical thinking, critical understanding, and so on like that. So I'm going to ask some questions about that, okay? Maybe in our discussion section. But just while I'm going through the slides, keep focused. Pay attention to what I'm saying, okay? So that your mind should already be working, thinking about it, okay? So here, I'm going to ask you some questions about this Kubja, because it's very important to understand properly. Here, Sri Gopal Guru, Sri Goswami, Gopal Guru Goswami is saying that Kubja's role is a very, very important role she plays actually. So he places them in Parakya primarily, okay? And why he also, so it's a kind of mixed role, Parakya and Samanya. Samanya means ordinary, okay? Panditas, they said that Kubja's role as ordinary. Why? Because Kubja Ja means born. Aja means born, Kubja. Okay. Kuba means Kurupa, means ugly. She had so many deformities, as you can see the picture on the right topmost side of the slide. She had a big hump on her back. She was bent like that. So she was born like that. And so nobody would really care to marry her, So she was in constant that kind of frustration with her life. Okay? So that was the reason she never loved anyone, until she met actually Krishna on the street. So here you see she's meeting Krishna, and Krishna, of course, knows everyone's heart, So here Krishna actually touched by simply his touch, Krishna, all her ugliness, all her deformities were completely disappeared. She turned into a very beautiful, very attractive woman, So here, coming back to Gopal Guru Goswami, his interpretation, he says Parakya, because her love for Krishna, initially, of course, it was selfish, okay? But later, when by the company of Krishna, she really loved him very, very dearly. Okay, and she wanted to enjoy with him, and she invited in her home, and Krishna honored her request. As you can see, the left bottommost slide, Krishna is in her house now, actually, and she's serving him. So she wanted to enjoy, okay, and she initially had that desire to enjoy herself, but actually, when she actually got into with Krishna, then she wanted to give pleasure to Krishna also. Okay, so that is the reason why Shiksha Guru says that her love was kind of parakya rasa, conjugal rasa, but at the same time he also says she should be also in samanya, ordinary. Why it is so? Because her love, because of her selfish desire, at least in the beginning stage, she had this selfish desire to enjoy. Okay, that was the reason. So now you understand both reasons why Shiksha Guru places Kubja in the mixed role, Parakya and Samanya. And I'm going to ask you some questions, okay, because questions could be raised by the interpretation of the Shiksha Guru, but there could also be possibly he is probably right, not possibly, probably is right. But there is the important question I'm going to ask you. So start thinking about it. Why, when he says parakya, why that could be questioned? Okay, think about it. I want you. I want to encourage you to think always. Don't read it mechanically. So that's what I wanted to say about this particular slide. Let's move on. Now, this Swakya Parakya heroines. Heroines are Sanskrit called Nayikas. Hero Nayaka. Okay. So Nayaka and Nayika. So here we are focus is on the heroines, Nayika. So there are three primary kinds. One is Mugdha, middle is Madhya. Madhya it's intermediate, okay? And Pragalbha. In three ways they are different, age-wise. Mugdha are very, very young, just entering into the youth, Nava Yavana. Okay, that means they just cross the boundary of puberty. Okay, uh, and but not fully developed yet. So that is Mugdha. In fact, Mugdha, the Sanskrit name Mugdha means quite attractive. Girls who are just in that stage are extremely very, very attractive. Then there is a Madhya. So they have passed that stage, but not yet fully developed, fully unto Yavana, okay, youth. So they are Madhya. Okay. The third, Pragalbha is the one fully matured, uh, uh, full Yavan, uh, in the blossoming of the Yavana. Okay. Now, so there's a three categories based on the age-wise. Mugdha, very young, just about 13, 14. Madhya is approaching 16, and Pragalbha is right around that 16. Okay. Uh, so Mugdha, the one who is still immature, they are very shy in conjugal rasa with Krishna. Okay. But inside, tremendous desire to enjoy with Krishna. Okay. Um, uh, and giving Krishna enjoyment. So they are like that. Mugdha, intense desire is there, but very shy. And that's the reason they're reluctant and they constantly depend on her senior Sakhis for advice. So when a lover sort of behave harshly with a Mugdha, she will feel the pain, she will experience the pain, but she will not be able to say. She will simply cry within herself. Whereas Madhya, who has crossed that boundary, okay, but not yet fully blossomed, they will be in intermediate between Mugdha and Pragalbha. Okay? So when they are offended, by her lover, she will say indirectly, she mocks him with harsh words, dhira, adhira, madhya. Her nature is in between mugdha and pragalbha, okay? And she's obviously amorous. Shyness is still there, but in flow of youth is almost there. Pragalbha is fully developed, looking forward, very eager to enjoy amorous pastimes, and deeds are clearly very, very passionate. And there are three kinds: dhira, adhira, dhira, adhira. Dhira means who are very sober, actually. That's Sanskrit word dhira means sober, okay? Um, uh, they pretend to be disinterested in love making, very polite, of course, and respectful, okay? Those are the dhiras. Whereas adhira, very, very impatient, can't wait. You know? So they are somewhat cruel with her lover. Now, remember, this cruelty is not exactly what we think in the material terms. Here, cruelty is a kind of rasa, actually. So you have to properly understand the word cruelty, you know. So they're cruel with her lover, but this is the really a show. And Krishna enjoys this kind of interactions, relationship. So that is adhira. Very easily get upset. She will speak very harshly and so on like that. Adhira, they are in between. Both kind of features are there, you know. So there again, there's a subgroup, Jeshta and Kanishta. Jeshta means topmost, a little bit older, Madhya, and Jeshta Pragalbha. So that's a subcategories. But Kanishta, they are a little bit younger, Madhya and Kanishta Pragalbha. Now, Pragalbha are very outspoken. In fact, later we are going to hear another category, Prakhara. Prakhara, Madhya, and Mridvi. That's a degree of harshness. Prakhara are very, very harsh, and they tend to be the Yuteshwaris, you know. They are the leaders. They have to be strict, okay? So Prakhara, highest harshness. Mridvi, exact opposite of the spectrum. Mridu means very komala, very soft spoken. So they are exact opposite. The in between is the madhya. Okay, so we'll hear that. So pragalbha are very, very similar to prakhara. So now you understood the three basic qualifications. These three categories of the heroines: Mugdha, very young, inexperienced, inside desire is there, but very shy. Madhya in between. Pragalbha are full yovana, full blossom. Okay, and they remain that way throughout their lives, around 16. And they are somewhat outspoken. They feel free to criticize Krishna, share harsh word, and so on like that. Now again, I'm going to ask you a question. Where does Radharani fits in this classification? Clearly, Radharani is fully mature, you know, and full blossom. But I want you to understand exactly what is her role. That's again, we're going to be discussing towards the end. So think about it. Whatever I'm asking you, pay attention. Already your mind should be thinking about while we are ongoing. Okay, here now what we are in this slide, what we are going to be hearing about the 8 conditions these heroines go through when they make an appointment with Krishna. Okay, so date is such. In America, we call dating game. Okay, so it is very much like they make a date. Hero and heroines decide they will meet in so and so time in so and so place, either at her place or some designated place. Designated place usually in the Bower, Kunja, and there they meet. And of course, these heroines, they have their own place. Every heroine has their own kunjas, you know. So first, setting is this Abhisarika. Abhisara means heroine is setting a date and she's preparing herself to go and meet her hero with great anxiety. Okay? So Abhisara is going to meet, so will properly dress herself to make as attractive as possible to Krishna. So where's and remember, meetings are almost all the it is in the night time. So because they are meeting surreptitiously, secretly, it's a conjugal rasa, parakya rasa. Gopis are in that bhava that they are already married. They wanted to meet Krishna without the knowledge, obviously with her husband, but also the mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, and so on like that, okay, and the public. So they're meeting in the night. So if there is a bright night, the moon is shining, okay, then obviously it's bright. So she would dress in a white clothing, so to camouflage, not to be seen by others. And if it's a dark night, then they will wear darker clothes, so that again they will camouflage themselves. So that is how they prepare themselves. That's what you see right here. Okay, and then number two, now that is called Vasaka Sajja. So they are getting dressed as best as they could, as attractive as they can. Very anxious, and they are very, of course, they are very, very beautiful. Radharani is naturally beautiful. The garments and ornaments are actually, they themselves get beautified by Shri Radharani. So they are very, very anxious to enjoy amorous pastimes with Krishna, and she dresses herself effectively to promote, to enhance that meeting and give the maximum advantage, maximum enjoyment for Krishna. So she dresses herself attractively and decorates the meeting place also. If it's her place, her kunja, she will decorate very nicely, very attractively. So Krishna will enjoy whatever the place they are going. Okay. So she is totally prepared for that. That is what Vasaka Sajja. Sajja means getting dressed, properly prepared for that. And then the third, Utkanta. Utkanta, Sanskrit word, is tremendous, tremendous anxiety is there. Okay. And very, very eager. Utkanta means eagerness. Eagerly meeting, hardly can wait. Every second counts for them to meet their lover, Krishna. Okay. Filled with longing and anxiety when her lover is going to approach. So she is waiting. Time is set and very anxiously waiting. Krishna is making them to wait, waiting. And that's what happened. It's a human nature. When things don't go right, we always tend to think negatively, always. So she would be start thinking, what must have happened? Why did Krishna didn't show up? And then start negative thinking. Is he could be with my rival or what? Is he with Chandravali or what? Why is she not showing up? All kind of negative thinkings will start. So she trembles, sheds tears, speculates all kind of negative things. But Krishna does not come. So that is Utkanta. All these things, kind of things she has to go through that. And Krishna purposefully does that, making a lover. And she thinks maybe now he must be with my rival, Then the Khandita. Khandita means breaking apart. Her heart breaks. It's almost approaching morning. Sun is about to show up, and the lover hasn't shown up yet. She's crying all the time. The rendezvous, the meeting time, place, is everything is, she's getting berserk, it's almost over, and he has not shown up. And then Krishna shows up. Either he shows up or he doesn't show up. But when he shows up, his drashta character shows up, We saw that Drishta character, right? He is so terrible that he already met the rival Gopi, spent time, and all the telltale signs, the garland, Vajanti Mala, is crumpled, because tightly embracing. Um, Maybe the earrings of the heroines are stuck to his dress and all kind of thing. So they are already, and he would not hide that. Rather, you can imagine how much pain she must be going through that, when she sees that. So that's why Khandita completely collapsed. Heart is breaking to pieces. She's feeling terrible pain. That's one thing. Fifth, Vipralabdha. They are separated from her lover. Now what happens situation? Here, she becomes so anxious when her lover does not show up at all. In the previous case, he shows up in the morning with the telltale signs. Okay? But here, he just does not show up. And sometimes there is a genuine reason. Krishna does not show up. Some genuine reason is there, but no. And the rendezvous is completely unsuccessful. Very unhappy at heart. Lamentation sets in. She faints. Deep sighing is there. Deep taking breath. And performs other likely activities. So that is called actually vipralamba, separation. She begins to experience, Then what happens? Point number 6. Kala antarita. Kala, quarrelness. Those who are adhira, they speak up very harshly. Radharani used to speak very harshly. She used to call Krishna Lampata, womanizer. But inside Radharani's love, that's a big difference, big, huge difference. And the material platform, at that point, love totally breaks, right? She will give up on that and she'll start looking for someone else. But Radharani, the one who's loved on the spiritual platform, no matter what condition, worst possible condition, she will never ever forget Krishna. That's Radha. So here, Kala means apparent quarrel. Okay, she won't forgive. Krishna has to begging her feet, touching her feet. Lalita, Vishaka, they are telling Radha, please forgive him. Look at how he's crying. Please forgive him. But she won't forgive her lover, even when surrounded by her friends. The lover humbly falls at her feet, begging to forgive him. And Krishna does that. One of the pictures I'll show you later. Krishna is begging. Okay, so that's the point number 6. Point number 7. Proshita Bhartrika. Her lover has gone far away, travel. Not just going to the forest, but now he's gone to Mathura. There, her lover has gone so far away, there's no way to meet her lover. So that time what happens? The true lover will start looking only in the positive sense. All the great things about her lover, she thinks. So she praises. And very humble, becomes thin. She won't be eating much, not drinking water, things like that. So she will lose weight, very thin she becomes, insomnia, because hardly able to sleep, and melancholy, all kind of pain is eating her from the inside, restless, stunned, and very, very anxious to hear some word, to hear about her lover. And finally, Swadhina Bhartrika, those who are so sure about themselves and control Krishna, and the lover never ever dares to go against her, completely controls Krishna. Again, I'm going to ask you later where Radharani fits in this kind of description. whose lover always submissively remained with her. She enjoys pastimes with him in the forest uh, and on the Yamuna river, bank of river, like this one, like that, while picking flowers and the other like things, and lover is completely under her control, he dare not uh, go against her. So that is Swadhina, completely in control of herself, She dominates her lover in short. Okay, so now you see the all 8 conditions, but the 3 of the conditions that is here, that's mentioned right here in the footnote here. Among the 8 kinds of heroines, 8, not there are 8 kinds of heroines, the 8 kind of conditions they go through that. Okay? Number 1, 2, and 8. So 1, when she's about to be getting dressed, so there is no reason for her to be feeling very pain and all this thing, because she's just about to meet him like that. Okay, so obviously then that point she's not experiencing that pain. Then number two is this when she's getting dressed, preparing and getting dressed, ornaments, everything fully set up to meet. So these 2 conditions you can understand she is not experiencing any pain. And number 8, when she is in control of her lover dare not go against her. So 1, 2, and 8, those are the conditions. She's completely happy at heart, looking forward, and nicely decorated with garments, ornaments, and that. But look at the rest of the situations. Number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is completely broken up, However, the other 5 kinds of heroines, they completely give up their dresses, give up their dressing themselves up, ornaments, everything. And look at the condition Radharani that you see in that picture that I'm showing you. That's exactly what she is now, very, very depressed and so on like that. So this seemingly suffering actually, to onlookers, of course, you see Radharani is in pain, okay, but she's not in pain. That's Vipralamba lava, much deeper than the union Sambhoga lava, much deeper. Because you think when the lover is not in front of you, you think more deeply, deeply. Think all the time, you think about him. That is what Krishna does, that Vipralamba love, And that's what for us in material platform, we go into the difficulties, only in difficulties we remember Krishna. That's what Kunti Mata said that, right? You give me more pain, more sufferings, because then only I remember you. And if I remember you, what does that mean? I don't have to come back in this world again. Okay, now the other further 3 classifications. One who is Uttama, very, very high grade, when Madhya, intermediate, and then Kanishta in terms of their love, intensity of love for Krishna. So one who's Uttama, willing to renounce any activity to please her lover, even for only a moment, despite the lover make her happy. That's exactly Radharani is that. How much, to what length Krishna goes to give her pain, but she will never give up on him. Never, ever give up. Nobody can come close to Radha. She never is displeased with him. Outwardly, she must dare. She says all kind of harsh words to Krishna, but inward, she will always wish him well, So that is Uttama love, topmost love. Then the Kanishta, the other end of the spectrum, very low kind of love. She is anxious that obstacles will prevent her from meeting her lover, all things, Then there is an intermediate in between. Okay, now we will see the, how am I doing the time? Seven kinds of Swakya heroines. And so, how are the 7 kinds of Sakyas? Remember, there are 3 classifications: Mugdha, Madhya, and Pragalbha, right? Mugdha is very immature. Madhya is obviously intermediate. Pragalbha, fully mature. So, in the Mugdha category, there are 3 kinds. Those who are unmarried girls, very, very premature. not even at the puberty. Then there's Swakya Mugdha, and then there's a Paroda, Parakya Mugdha. And Madhya, there are three categories. We already saw that, right? Dhira, Adhira, Dhira, Adhira. And then there's a Pragalpa. So in all, so look at the 7 kinds. One is Mugdha, 3 Madhyas, Dhira, Adhira, and so on like that. And the 3 in Pragalpas. So there are 3 plus 3, 1, 7, right? So there is 7. 7 kinds of Swakya, 7 kinds of Parakya. And of course, there's a Kanya, unmarried girls, plus 1. So that's totally 15 kinds. Okay, let's break. I'm already exceeding my time limit. Let's take a short break. If you don't mind, let's get it takes 3 minutes break, okay? Oh, I'm doing okay, I think, right? Certainly, I'm doing okay, right? I'm doing okay. Correct. So I'm within limit. Okay. So now what we are going to see in this slide, how many total number of heroines are there. We'll see totally 360. How number 360 we arrived at. That's what you are going to see in this slide. So pay attention. I'm going to go a little bit slowly, okay? Slower. First, we saw that 15 heroines, right? Why? 7 kinds of Swakya. Why 7 kinds? 3 kinds, Dhira, 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 like that on Mugdha. And 7 kinds of Parakya, and 1 kind of that unmarried girls, okay? So that is 7 kinds, right? 7 kinds of Swakya Sankar Prakya Buddha. So that is totally 15. That I explained to you in previous slide. Okay. Now we'll go more. So these 7 kinds, each of these 15 kinds, each of these 15 kinds, that's why there's a multiplication is involved. So there is a, so these are the 15 kinds, and we are going to multiply 15. So first, so these 8 kinds of conditions we saw, right? What are the 8 kinds of conditions? Abhisarika, getting, preparing herself, dressing herself, Vasasaja, ornaments, and all these things, properly dressed. So if it's a bright night, she will dress in the white clothing. If it's a dark night, she will wear a dark clothing. Okay. Of course, decorating herself and so like that. Then Utkanta, the great anxiety, looking forward. She hasn't met her hero yet. Great anxiety is there. The hero doesn't show up. Khandita, breaking her heart. Vipralabdha, he doesn't show up at all. In Khandita, the difference between Khandita and Vipralamba, hero does show up very, very late. Almost the night is over. Sun is about to come out. And when he comes, even when he comes, he shows all the telltale signs of that he spent the time with the rival Gopi. So totally, heart is totally broken up. Vipralabdha, he doesn't show up at all, feeling cheated. Then Kala Antita, all their anger, everything coming out, very harshly speaking, you know. So there's a quarrel is there in separation. And then Proshita Prayasi, a great separation is there now, because the lover has gone far away places. And then the one who is controlling type, lover is fully under control. He dare not go anywhere else, fully controlled. That's the one, control the lover. So this way, there are 8 kinds. So 15 times 8, 120, right there. Then there are 3 kinds of the intensity of love. Remember, Uttama, Madhya, and Kanishta. So that's Uttama, most exalted, Madhyama, intermediate, and the third kind is Kanishta, who are the like beginners, neophyte, you know. So there's 3 kinds. So 120 times 3, that's why 360, right? Types. So now you understand 360 types. You also understand why the 15 types also explained to you. So now we'll go a little bit further qualification. Now we are talking about not the heroines, but the leaders of the particular group. There are various groups. Next week we'll see what are the groups. Okay. So here the Yutheshwari we are talking about. So there are here right in the center you see that. So there is a 3 kinds of groups are there. Swapaksha, we are going to hear more in the next week, of course, tomorrow actually. Swapaksha, Vipaksha, and Tatastha. Swapaksha, the group, they are friendly to each other, obviously. Vipaksha, they are adversaries, enemies, enemy creation. Then Tatastha, those are neutral. Neutrals are understand properly. Neutral means they will be equal to both Swapaksha and those. So there's a one hand, there's Radharani's group, and then other hand, let's see, Chandravali's group. They are adversaries, obviously. So those in the neutral group, they will show equally to Radharani's group, equally to Chandravali's group. And yet there's a leaning towards more toward the Vipaksha. The neutral group is there actually. So there are 3 kinds right in the beginning, okay, that you must remember. So among these 3, now we go further qualification. There's a Adhika Lagvi, and Sama. When we did in Ujjwal Nilamani, this thing, those who attended Ujjwal Nilamani course, they should be able to remember this thing. And Nitya Sakhi Bata is the one who actually recapped in that Ujjwal Nilamani this portion of it. So I'm sure she remembers. So there's Adhika. These three qualifications are based on the degree of harshness. Adhika means additional, tremendous. They are extremely very harsh. Okay? The other end of the spectrum in that category is Mridvi. Laghu. Laghu means light, so they are less. So you see the degree of harshness that you see in this slide, right in where you see the cursor. So they are moderated, Prakara, and the Mridvi. Lagvi. And then there's Sama, moderate, in terms of harshness. So harshness and sweetness, they are almost about balance each other. So that is these three categories. Then there are further three categories. This Prakara, Madhya, and I already talked Prithvi. So I don't want to confuse you again. Let me repeat again. First three are three groups: Supaksha, Vipaksha, and the Tatastha group. Okay, and within that group, within and outside that group, there is a Adhika, great in terms of accordance with their fortunes. Then there is a Lagvi, the light kind, and then there's Sama. Okay, and then outside of that, there's a Prakhara, Madhya, and Mridvi in terms of harshness. Degree of harshness. Prakhara are very, very harsh. Mridvi, very soft. And then tomorrow we'll hear actual examples which gopis are following in which category. Okay, so this you understood, right? And then we move on to Atyantika here. Atyantika on this side, leftmost side, Atyantika Laghu, or Atyantika, Atyant means extreme. Okay. But here we are talking about Atyantika Laghu when we say they're relatively extreme. Because the ultimate extreme is Srimati Radharani. Nobody can come close to it. So she is the topmost of all Atyantika. Radha alone is there, and she is in a Madhya category. So that is Atyantika. Another end is Apekshika, which are relatively great, not so relatively less actually. And Adhika, Atyantika is extreme. So, but relative. So not inferior to any other heroines except Sri Radha. So Radha is the supreme in that category. So I hope you understood this slide. So based on these categories, there are totally of 12 divisions of the leaders. We are talking about leaders, okay? Yuteshwaris. So there's Atyantika Adhika. Most leaders are Atyantika Adhikas. Otherwise they cannot become leader, Then there's Sama Laghu, Adhika Madhya, Sama Madhya, Laghu Madhya. So each three categories are further into three, like that, So 3 into 9, and then the degree of love. So that's totally 12. Okay, here what we are going to see, different kinds of gopi messengers. Now gopis are serving as messengers. So we are not talking about the leaders now, okay? Leaders do sometimes serve as messenger, but they are only usually on the short distance only. So when a gopi is bewildered by anuraga means deep attachment for Krishna, her excessive eagerness overpowers the feminine shyness. Now here we are talking about those who are, remember we talked previous week, there are two kinds of messengers, right? One is self-appointed messenger. And the other one is apta duty, those who are appointed messengers. Now here this description is about the self. So they sometimes their eagerness, anuraga is so deep, the womanly shyness is depressed. and they cannot wait to disclose them, to reveal themselves, their heart to Krishna. So they will themselves send messages to Krishna in that sense. So apparently she becomes shameless, but not truly shameless, okay? And cannot wait to personally express her bhava to Krishna. So how do they transmit messages? How do they function as messengers? Three ways. Their bodily transmission is there. Then the speaking words, by words they express themselves. So that is a vachika abhiyoga. Abhiyoga means the mode of transmission. Then through eyes, and you'll be surprised, gopis can talk so many things through eyes only. And I know lovers can do that. There's 1,000 feet of difference. One lover is in the ground floor, the other lover is across 1,000 feet in a balcony, and they talk so many things just through eyes only. They don't get to meet each other. So here, Chakshusha Abhiyoga is really amazing. So much they can transmit messages to each other. So let's talk about bodily Abhiyoga. So they perform activities in Krishna's presence, such as snapping one's fingers. So Krishna will understand that. What every way they bodily gestures they do, they transmit what they want to say. Okay, standing up suddenly in some pretext, covering one's limbs out of fear and shyness, writing on the ground. Sometimes because of shyness, you cannot say. But show what she will do that. You know that she will, with her toes, she will scratch the ground. Okay? Or like this, she will do that body things, adjusting her hair, adjusting her pillow, and so on like that, showing little uneasiness. Uh, so many ways bodily they could transmit what they have, something innermost in their heart, so that a lover will understand. So that is called performing activities in Krishna's presence. So it could be Krishna's presence, and so on like that. We just saw that, right? Then there is a speech, and there are two types how they give hints, sanketa. One is Shabda Vyanga, a hint through words. And how do they do that? They are direct suggestions like that, very proud statements, garva, accusation, akshepa, directly begging. So there are three varieties of that category. Then the deceit, vyapadesha, on the pretext of saying something else in a very, very hidden way. Directly will not say, but she will use some kind of examples in saying like that. So among the direct begging, yachana, yancha, there's a swartha for her own sake, for her own interest, or parartha for someone else, one's request expressed by for someone else. So there is one category, Shabda Vyanga. Then the other category is Artha Vyanga. What is Artha Vyanga? Means they are giving, not saying directly, but the meaning of that, what they want to say, something that becomes apparent to the hero, not other people. Okay, because hero and heroine know each other. So hero will understand. So that's called Artha Vyanga. In the meaning of the words, either directly related to Krishna or referring to something nearby. In the Leelas, we see all these examples in Ujjwal Nilamani. So many examples are there. For each, there's an example there. So heroine who are afflicted with an intense hankering to meet with Krishna requires the help of duties. That's why they need messengers. Sometimes they go themselves when they could not control their bhava, they wanted. So then the shyness is suppressed. But when it's not that degree of intensity is there, then they will select a gopi who they can trust and send the gopi as a messenger to transmit a message to Krishna. Okay. So this is the what they do that. Okay, here now we are talking about a little bit in greater depth about the messengers. Okay, on one hand, it's getting a little bit more complicated, but try to understand there are three kinds of duties who never commit a breach. So first of all, the leaders, the gopis, they select who is the gopi who would transmit a message to Krishna. Let's say Radharani is selecting someone, okay? So she will select obviously one she can trust the most. And these gopis who take that kind of role are extremely sincere, very, very honest, and they will never ever go against their leader whose message she's transmitting. She's very, very honest. Sometimes Krishna takes them. So when they take a message to Krishna, Krishna sometimes entices her to enjoy with herself. Of course, that's a parent, And she will not say anything at all. She will discourage Krishna. No, no way. This is Radharani's message. Take it or leave it. But she will not become dishonest in sincerity, and she will enjoy herself. She will never do that. So that is the first. This is the topmost category of that kind of duty we are talking about. Okay. So among those kind of duties, there are several kinds. That's shown in the leftmost slide. Okay. The Sakhis as duties, we already heard how many types of Sakhis are there, right? Nitya Sakhi, all those categories, Sakhis as duties, they perform by expressing their message openly and by indirect hints and suggestions. So those are that kind of Sakhis. Then there are Vanadevis, goddesses of forest. They are the presiding deities of the forest of Vrindavan. Then there are Dhatreyi, nurses. So these different kinds, Paricharika, maid servants, Lingini, ascetics. And tomorrow we'll see actually examples of such gopis, okay? Shilpakarini. So they are not names, they are they are types of it. Hare Krishna. So I'll end here. And we have plenty of time, 40 minutes of discussion. First, let me hear whether you have your own questions and discuss about it. Then if the time permits, I'm going to ask you about those questions when during the talk I mentioned to think about it, right? About the role of Kubja, why the Shiksha Guru's places are in between Parakya. He says she's both a Parakya as well as she's a Samanya. If you understood that. And I'm going to ask you about that. And about the different classifications we heard, where does exactly Radharani fits? Okay, so please feel free to ask questions. Haribol. It's open for discussion, plenty of time.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Haribol Prabhuji.
So I think it's too technical, basically, to understand.
It's all.
Yeah, so too technical. But again, coming back to the Swakya, I was, as I went previously also, I'm trying to understand this one, the Kubja's role, because she is a central, comes many times in many places you see, and Nectar devotion also, she has been referred there. Now, the question is that is the Kubja Parkiya and Samanya, which is a common. Samanya, she, as we see that she's not like a gopis, they are hankering, not like Radharani's or not like twins of Dwarka. They have the relation. So this is a one-time relation or two times we see that. And it happened when Krishna goes to the Mathura. So at that time, so she happened to carry something and then meets Krishna, and that is the interaction. So my understanding is that it's a Samanya. She is not like other. We have to classify only Prince of Dwarka or the Gopis. This is the category. Then Radharani, one of the. But she is Samanya because just have some one interaction. Parikya again. My understanding is that other gopis, either gopis from other twins of Dwarka who married. So in that case, if we compare with the Kubja, she was not married with them. So why it is a Parkya? So since it's not a Swakya, so maybe it could be a Parkya. It's my guesswork, Prabhuji. I really don't know. So I just want to start with that because I want someone to will come with a more answers on that, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, we'll get into that discussion, okay?
Okay.
But you understood the reasoning of the Shiksha Guru.
Yes.
Why he places in the mixed category. You understood that?
Yes,
So let me
Prabhuji.
explain you again.
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. So we will get into that discussion at the end. Anybody else? Hare Krishna. Please don't be shy. You are among your friends, very close. No outsider is here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Sorry,
Oh,
Prabhu.
Prasad Prabhu, you had been
Still
absent
now.
for quite some time.
Yes, Prabhu. Last week I was off. Okay, I joined quite late, Prabhu, because of meetings. So I have not followed.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
We just started back, Prabhu.
Yeah, what's your point? Question, point?
No question, Prabhu. I have to listen again. Sorry, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
Because I have
Prasad
not
Prabhu.
gone through.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Haribol. You feeling
Hare
all right?
Krishna.
Prasad Prabhu, you're feeling all right? You sound kind
Yeah,
of
I'm
well.
feeling all right, Prabhu. I had very good and
Oh, I see.
slightly
Okay, okay.
better, Prabhu, today.
Hope you feel better. Haribol. Nityasaki Mataji, you have a point, question?
No, Prabhuji.
Nitya sir, do you remember
I
you
have to
in the
internalize.
you are the one who did this recapping of these different classifications of heroines? You remember?
Yeah. I did. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody?
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Accept my
Yeah,
humble
yes,
obeisance.
Haribol.
Sorry, Prabhuji. This is a little complex for me, so I'm still thinking about the Kubja question. um,
But you
um,
know the story, right? You know the story of Kubja, who Kubja is, right? Do you understand?
yes, I know the story. But then to relate to the Parakya and Samanya is a little bit difficult because on what side should the argument be? I'm just thinking.
Did you understand the reasoning of the Shiksha Guru?
Not very
Why he
100.
places in between? Okay, let me explain again for all of you, every one of you. Why he says that she is Parakya because of her love for Krishna. In the beginning, it was self-interest was there, but having met Krishna and by his association, she loved him so much. Okay, and remember, she was born ugly with all these physical deformities, so she never had any hope of getting married or so on like that, or never getting any, but as a lover or so like that. Okay, so that is one reason, and the other reason the Shiksha Guru is arguing that she's Parakya. You must understand why he says Parakya Rasa. Obviously, she is not Swakya, because she is not married to Krishna, obviously, you know. But that is the hint I'm giving you to question possible counter argument to why Shiksha Guru places her in Parakya mode. Okay, what is the definition of Parakya? You must clearly understand what is Swakya and Parakya. Again, we have
Yes,
discussed
Prabhuji.
ample times, ample number of times. So
Yes.
that should be very clear to you. But even if you don't understand, let me repeat in a broadest possible category. Swakya, those who are duly married. Krishna accepted the hands of the queens of Dwarka in a openly with witnesses and everybody, okay? Priest, parents of the queen, and so on like that. Whereas Parakya, Krishna is not duly married, all right? And those gopis, even though they were not truly married to other gopas, but they were indeed made to think by Yogamaya that they were married to someone, okay? Those who were married, their chaya, or their shadows who were actually married to gopas. Nonetheless, gopis were under the impression, truly under the impression that they were married to someone and they were having this paramount kind of relationship with Krishna. So that is parakya. So now we must be clear exactly what
Yes.
Swakya and parakya difference, okay?
Yes,
So in
Prabhuji.
that kind of understanding, now you tell me about the role of Kubja. Why
That's
he
why I'm
says,
confused,
and
because
why he says that, and then why he says put it again back also in samanya, ordinary. Why?
that's why I'm confused, because Kubja was not formally married to Krishna, and neither did she have a Chaya marriage, like,
Exactly. That's Lalita Primata, you got it. You got it. You got it. That's my point actually. So that's why I'm questioning Shiksha Guru's classification of her in Parakya, because Parakya by definition she should have been married, even though not truly, but in that impression. But here she was not truly married to anyone, not even we heard here any example that her shadow was married to someone else.
So is it
So
because
it
she's
clearly does not fall into Parakya group at all.
so
That's
is
my
it
question.
because
But in spite of that, we could still give a benefit of doubt. She could have been Parakya in the sense that is not yet declared that in the scriptures so far that we know of, she could have been married in that regard,
yes,
by somehow that's not yet declared. So I'm giving the benefit of doubt, but by and large, I question she is not strictly a Parakya either. Do you understand that?
yes, Prabhuji. So I'm
Because
thinking, is it
you already
because
pointed out to me. So I'm very,
yes,
very glad. You are very intelligent. You understood it that point.
that's why my question is it related to her expansion, because she's Satyabhama's expansion and she was married?
Yeah. So many other kind of examples that you can think of. You can give outside, benefit of doubt. So she could have been in that kind of category like that. So far, it's not openly declared in scriptures that she had
Mm.
that kind of married kind of relationship with that. Now expansion, everything is stretching a little bit far.
Okay.
But
But not
now
in
tell me,
Kubja.
did you understand why? Did you understand why Shiksha Guru said that she could be in Samanya also? Why? Did you understand that?
Yes, Prabhuji, because she was not married to
No,
Krishna
no.
officially,
That,
and
there is other Samanya. Why? Ordinary. Obviously, she was not like a
Prabhuji, maybe
prostitute.
is it because of her
Yeah.
selfish interest that initially she wanted Krishna, so she is under Samanya?
Yeah, you got it. Ramya, you got it. You got it. Ramya Mataji, you got it. She has self-interest, right? She wanted to enjoy herself. She was so attracted by the beauty of Krishna, she wanted to enjoy. But after having met, Krishna actually went there and spent a night at her house with close association. Then she really fell in great love with Krishna, and she really wanted. So that was a true kind of love she developed at that point. So that's why Shiksha Guru places her in a Samanya category in that kind of, because she initially had a selfish kind of interest. That's why.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Because this role of Kubja is very important for us to understand clearly. Okay, now everybody got it. Thank you. Lalita Primata, you had any additional point?
No, Prabhuji, this is what was perplexing me, like how she can be placed in Parakiya because
Parakya.
yeah.
That's exactly my thing. My point was also that exactly. So she's to all that we know based on Srimad Bhagavatam, there is nowhere it is mentioned that she was ever married to anyone else. But indirectly, you can say expansion in so many other ways, but that's a bit stretching, you know. Okay, let's move on. Anybody else? Any question before we get into think of Radha? Where does she fit in all these classifications? Come on, you're not a. I'm disappointed. Still, others are still quite silent. At least today, I appreciate Ramya spoke. बहन जी आप कुछ बोलेगी राजकुमारी बहन जी आप हैं उधर
No, Bhaiji, thank you so much. It was very
आप समझ तो
nice.
रही हैं आप समझ तो रही हैं सब बातें सब
Yes, Bhaiji. Yes, yes.
ठीक है अच्छा ठीक है और कोई दीप्ति माता जी
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
हरि बोल माता जी yes you do ask questions sometimes you know that's why I'm asking you but I don't want to put you on the spot okay I don't want to put you on the spot
Prabhuji, one doubt is coming into my mind. Parakya doesn't, if either part, Krishna was married, he was having relationship, he developed attachment with Kubja. That is not Parakya. Both, only Parakya word is applicable to Gopis.
yeah because mostly it is gopis because his question is not about Krishna it's a parakya relationship means from gopis side point of view okay Krishna was not married at all and you know the reasoning why right he was too young
Yes.
At that time and he had not even done this brahmana thread ceremony and all these things that when he goes to Mathura Vasudevji did all the thread ceremony and everything like that remember so that is required before marriage so that's he was never ever married yes he himself married to some of the gopis some of the unmarried gopis remember but that marriage was not official marriage that's called by the rituals of Gandharva rituals. Gandharva rituals only hero and heroine is there. They exchange garlands, flower garlands, but nobody else knows about that. So that he did, but that's not a true marriage.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anybody else? So unfortunately, now we see only about 12, 14 out of 2021 before in the beginning days to attend. Now most of them they are dropped out. You know. Samantha Mataji, you have any point, questions? No? Okay. All right. So now, wait. Yeah, Mataji, I can hardly hear you. I cannot hear you. I think the internet is a problem.
Prabhuji, can you hear me now?
Okay, now I can
Hello?
hear you. Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. The 8 stages that we saw in the of the gopis, 3 happy and 5 of them were unhappy because they were away from Krishna. So these like all the gopis go through these 8 stages or because you say that like the person that is there is throughout like that. So the gopis that are in the first stage, like who are dressing up, who are in the shringar, and who are like in the like the 3 happy ones. So they will be throughout happy, or each gopi goes through each stage.
Each gopi. The understanding is that each gopi goes through these 8 stages, each of them.
Okay, so
in a strictly speaking, they are not classifications, although they are counted like that. But strictly speaking, it should not be counted as classification. Each gopi goes into this kind of conditions, you know.
Yes, Prabhuji, because unless they don't go through these stages, their love would not be so intense, no?
No, each of them go through all these 8 stages, each of them. Whenever they set this appointment with Krishna, each of them, they go through all this 8 stages. That is my understanding.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah, that only was the confusion I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, each of them. So each of them, they have a date with Krishna. Each of them prepare themselves, getting dressed and everything, all these things. Now, about a controlling type, not necessarily each of them in that controlling type. The 8th group that we heard about, I don't think Chandravali's could be placed in that group, but that is a kind of condition. Some point they might be controlling Krishna in some point. So in that category, in that way of thinking, you can say everybody goes through that, even the 8th stage also. But by and large, Radharani is the one who actually controls Krishna. Rest of the gopis, certainly not Chandravali. Chandravali is the most submissive type. Okay, let me give the chance to Sharad Prabhuji to enter into discussion, and we might get some more enlightenment also. At some point, I could be wrong. He might correct me also. Haribol, Sharad Prabhuji.
No, you are not wrong. Just one point about Kalantarita. Kalantarita is also described in very great detail by our acharyas. Whatever you heard, saw in the slide, I think it was slide 4, I'll tell ahead of that. Now, what happens in that stage of Kalantarita?
Your voice, Prabhuji, your voice is breaking.
Can you
your
hear
voice
me?
is breaking, unfortunately.
Yeah, we can hear properly.
Okay, it's probably internet at my end. Internet probably at my end, I think. Everybody else is able to hear him?
I'm able to hear Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so probably at my end. Okay, go ahead, continue.
Okay, in Kalantarita, what happens, it is also described, there Radha wants to meet Krishna, and Krishna also wants to meet Radha, but they are not able to meet each other. That is what is the stage. Now then you will ask, what is the reason? Why, if Radha has developed mana, and after some time she wants to meet Krishna, but what happens, her Sakhis, especially Lalita Sakhi, she tells her that you will not meet her. And as you know, Radharani, she is very, very obedient to her Sakhis. And if any Sakhi gives an order to her, she obeys it to the last word. That's why even if she is wanting to meet Krishna, she will not meet Krishna because she has been told by Lalita Sakhi or some other Sakhi. Now, likewise, Krishna is also wanting to meet Radharani, but the Sakhis, because the Sakhas are not there in this transaction, the Sakhis, they are not allowing Krishna to meet Radharani. Now, this is the stage, this is the condition of Kalantarita, and in Radha Kunda, during the celebration of Jannava Mata's her appearance or disappearance day, I am not remembering. Jannava Mata was the wife of Nityananda Prabhu. In that, these dramas, they are enacted in the Radha Kunda, and they are very, very popular in Vrindavan. This is what is Kalantarita. And since there is time, I want to tell something more, which last time
we have plenty of time, Prabhu. Prabhuji, we have plenty of time.
Last time we did not get time. This how Srimati Radharani, who is at Yavat, that is in her mother-in-law's place, how she gets up in the morning and gets prepared, and what is the role of her mother-in-law. Now, what is happening in Yavat, as you know, Yavat is very near to Nandagram and Barsana also. Nandagram to Barsana is 7 kilometers, and Yavat is about 3 or 4 kilometers from Nandagaon. Now, in Yavat, Mukhara is Kirtida's mother. She wakes up in the morning and she is very eager to shower her blessings to her granddaughter Radhika, and that's why she enters her bedroom. Now, about Jatila, now Jatila, even though she is crooked by nature, she also wants to increase her son's wealth. And she arrives at Mukharaj's place and addresses her like this. What I am telling you, these are all given in the Govinda Lilamrita by the Kaviraj Goswami in very great detail, but very shortly I am telling you. Now, Jatila is telling Mukhara after going there that please wake up Radha and please tell her to dress and ornament herself and engage in the worship of the sun god. Like you know, every day the Radharani used to go to Surya Kund to worship the sun god, and that was actually the pretext. The pretext was to meet Krishna only, which was not known to Jatila or others. And there are many stories also. Those I am not going into the story. But what Jatila is telling Mukhara that I want a big lifespan, wealth of millions of cows for my son. As you know, her son, who is supposed to be the husband of Radharani, is a shadow of Lord Krishna. Now she is reminding her that Purnamasi and she knows how to increase our wealth, and daily tells me that I should never violate Queen Yasoda's order and I should not neglect her the advice at all. Therefore, please ask your daughter and granddaughter to get up and get ready. Now, then what happens? She goes there, Mukhara goes there, and she sees Radharani in her bedroom, and she tells her, "You see, you have forgotten that is it Sunday today? Is it holiday? Please get up, take your bath, and quickly prepare your various paraphernalia for worshipping the sun god." And thereafter, what happens? Visakha Sakhi also wakes up hearing Mukhara's words, and quickly they get up. She gets up, and despite the fact that she was still very much tired because of last night's various activities, that is the Leelas, she also urges Radharani to get up quickly. Now, because Mukharaj and Visakha's words, because of their words, Radha wakes up, but again goes to sleep after some time because her body is totally exhausted from last night's various activities in the forest, that is the Rasalila. And thereafter, what happens? Rati Manjari, seeing the opportunity to serve the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, goes there and meets her, and they repeatedly address Mukhara and Visakha, and they request Radhika to get up from bed. And Visakha, the once hears all these words, she casts a quick glance on the what happens. Mukhara then goes inside and he says, that there is a yellow cloth on the body of Radha, but yesterday I saw it in Krishna's chest. And how it is that it is with Radha? Now then Vishakha comes in, she says that no, yeah, you are a blind lady, you are not able to see. You see the golden rays of the sun coming through the window, and it is making the blue cloth look like golden. Then she says, okay, I have gone old, I am not able to see properly. That's why I am seeing the blue cloth as yellow. And thereafter, Vichakha, what she does, she takes that yellow cloth and hides somewhere else to be handed over to Krishna later on. Now, meanwhile, the Sakhis headed by Lalita, they leave their homes, then they come quickly to Radhika's place, and the maid servants there, they are waiting for their mistress, that is Radharani, to go to the bathing dash. Now, then Radhika gets up and she sits down in the chair studded with various ornaments with jewels placed there by her maidservants. And Lalita took all the ornaments from her body as if she picked leaves and flowers from a golden vine. And meanwhile, two washermen's daughters, Manjishta and Rangavati, they come with new clothes for of Srimati Radharani, and then with scented powder from a mango leaf cup. Radhika is cleaned up her teeth. Then with both hands, Radha holds a golden tongue scraper and cleans her tongue. Then she sprinkles her face with water from the golden jug brought by the maidservants. And after washing her lotus-like mouth with and hands, Radhika then goes to the bathing dash which was surrounded by golden water pots and prepares for taking a bath there. And the two manicure girls, that is Sugandha and Nalini, who are expert in massaging with oil, they apply the foot lac, arrange the hair of Srimati Radharani. They lovingly rub Radhika's naturally cool and shining body with fragrant cool oil that is known as the Narayana oil, which was gifted by somebody, I am forgetting the name. And they arranged Radhika's hair, fragrant fragrant oil and shining body is white with a fine towel. And thereafter the Sakhis, they again bath Radhika with lukewarm fragrant water from the golden jugs. They rubbed all the water drops from her body with soft, fine towels. And then oncoming the ornamentation dash, Radhika was ornamented by her girlfriends, which is suitable for various times of the day. Now this is the morning time, that means the ornament is for what is requirement in the morning time. Lalita then combs Radhika's curly locks that were first dried up with fragrant smoke. Then she hung a jeweled string with a spotless crushed jewel of Sankachuda that was taken from him by Krishna and given to her at the tip of her bread, which was filled with bakula flowers and strings of pearls there put. And she bound this end with rope with golden ornaments inset with various gems. Then Chitra Sakhi lovingly tied a petticoat around Radha's waist that was as thin as the fist. Then Vishakha Devi smeared Radhika's arms with and back with sandalwood paste and mixed with aguru, vermilion and camphor. Then Chitra Sakhi thereafter painted the clusters of flowers, moonbeams, lotus flowers, capricorns, mango leaves on Radhika's body. And just as the rainbow and the stars can beautify and everything, Radhika was beautified by the Sakhis, and then Rangadevi Sakhi hung the golden palm leaves and lotus birds on Radhika's ears, and thereafter, above these ears, Chitra placed very charming earrings. They were disc-shaped hairpins and that shone like the sun. And Visakha made a nice fresh musk spot on Radhika's chin with a jeweled pencil and pearl on the tip of wide-eyed Radhika's nose bound the golden string, and seeing the friend Radhika's eyes were eager to drink the nectar of Krishna's spotless beauty, his moon-like face. Then Visakha covered the lotus eyes of Radha's neck with a spotless golden leaf. And thereafter, what happened? Visakha hung golden armlets with wreaths and 9 bright jewels from the silken strings. And then Lalita then decorated Radhika with many artful, fashioned, glistening sapphire bangles that stole the beauty. And then Visakha also applied Radhika's beautiful small golden foot bangles. Then thereafter Sudevi placed Radhika's jeweled toe rings, whose handicraft astonished everybody present, all the Sakhis. And then with her smiling lotus face, Visakha Devi placed a hand lotus given to her by Narmada. And then the barber's daughter Sugandha, knowing her time to serve Radharani, what she did, she brought a jeweled mirror in front of her so that she can have a look how she was looking. And this is how in Govinda Lilamrita, Kaviraj Goswami has described the various activities. This is a very fraction of the day's activity. And he says that because Rupa Goswami is very much pleased with me, he has given me this insight, and I am able to write the various activities of Srimati Radharani here in this Govinda Lilamrita. I have finished, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Prabhuji, let me ask you this question. Have you ever come across anywhere in the scriptures that Kubja was ever married to anyone else? Did you hear my question, Sharad Prabhuji?
Prabhuji, what?
My question is, did you ever come across anywhere in the scriptures that Kubja was ever married to anyone else? Because I'm questioning, because Parakya by definition she should have been married, at least even the shadow way or whatever it is.
No, she was not married. It is not given anywhere.
So do you agree with me by questioning the Parakya placement by Shiksha Guru?
Yes, Prabhuji, that is very, very clear now. I hope everybody would have understood. Actually, Kubja's this status we had earlier discussed also during the Ujjala Nilamani the course also.
Yeah.
And during the Priti Sandarbha also, because her name comes up every now and then. Then now it should have been very, very clear with all the devotees.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, any other point, questions somebody wants to raise? If not, then let us conclude the class. Samata Mataji or Nityasaki Mataji, either of you could do the Nashima prayer.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol Mataji, Hari Bol.
Go ahead, Mataji. Couldn't decide.
Samata Mataji, you may continue, Hari Bol.
Okay, Samata Mataji, it's
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Nilima Mataji, would you like to continue?
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Praladaladaini. Praladaladaini. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito nasinga parato nasinga. Ito nasinga parato nasinga. Yato yato yami tato nasinga. Yato yato yami tato nasinga. Bahir nasinga hridaye nasinga. Bahir nasinga hridaye nasinga. Narasimhadim sharanam prapadde. Narasimhadim sharanam prapadde. Tava kara kamalavare nakham adbhuta shringa. Dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringa keshavadrita narhari rupa jai jagadish hare jai jagadish hare jai jagadish hare jai nasinga nasingadev nasingadev jaya nasingadev jaya narahari 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 jaya narahari jaya prahlad maharaj prahlad maharaj prahlad maharaj jaya prahlad maharaj jaya jaya gurudev 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 jai jai Srila Prabhupada 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 jai jai Prabhupada. Gunnitai ki jai. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to His great Charu Chandra Prabhuji, His great Sharad Prabhuji, and all devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nityasaki Mataji. Thank you so much, everyone. Please accept humble obeisances. All go to Srila Prabhupada. All go to Srimad Bhagavatam. All go to the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. All go to all the Vaishnavas. Hari Bol. So I look forward to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we will go through lesson 42 and we'll go still more deeper discussion about these different Sakhis. Hari Bol. Thank you. And by the way, just to remind my teammates, I would like to have a meeting at the end of tomorrow's class, if possible. Hari Bol. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna,
Thank you so
Charan
much.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Koi
Krishna,
pranam. Hare Krishna, Charu Bhaiji.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna
Thank
Prabhuji.
you,
Thank
Sharad
you.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Sharad Prabhuji. Sharad Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sharad Prabhuji.